Remember the Millennium Drought? I don't know about you, but I had a moment in that drought where I thought, this is just enough. I don't think I can go on with this. Because for me, it was in February 2009. After years of drought and a run of 42-degree plus days, it felt like Melbourne was starting to come apart at the seams. The public transport system was starting to fail because the rails were buckling. Commuters were left on stations at 40 degrees because there was no way to get home. The European street trees in my neighbourhood started to drop their leaves in a last desperate bid to save themselves. It was so dry. It was so hot. I almost felt like I would never see green again or smell the lawn after the rain had fallen on it. And of course, in the week following, Victoria experienced the terrible Black Saturday bushfires. So I think everyone realised the importance of water as we went through the Millennium Drought. So now looking forward, our community has become clearer about its importance. And we as a water industry now understand, I think, far better how critical our role is. Because for us in Melbourne, how do we, as a community in the water industry, enable a cooler, greener, healthier city for present and future generations when our population is predicted to nearly double to 7.7 million by 2050? Climate change could mean that our rainfall could halve. Already in 2015, inflows to our storages are below the Millennium Drought averages. And we must deliver our services affordably. Over the last 10 years, our water bills have gone up by 115%. And as a result, 39% of our customers are telling us that at times they struggle to pay our bills. Business as usual will not deliver what our communities want and need in the time frame that is required. The good news is that we already know this. And we also know that innovation is a key tool to help us accelerate delivery. So how do large organisations innovate successfully? Having been involved as a senior executive and as a director in finding new ways for large corporations such as Telstra to meet and deliver on their big challenges, innovation has been part of most of my working life. At the moment, innovation is a term that is one of the most overused words in the Australian business community. I have to say I'm a bit sick of it. There also seems to be an irresistible urge to link it to beanbags, hipster beards and Silicon Valley. However, innovation is happening in many places and in many industries, and I would contend that at any time that an individual, group, community or company finds a better way to operate to meet their business or community goals, innovation is happening. So today, I want to share with you 6 key principles that successful organisations typically use to deliver breakthrough improvement via innovation. These have been drawn from research from leading innovation thinkers such as Clayton Christensen at Harvard and Roger Martin at University of Toronto, and from my own experience. Hopefully there will be something here for you to take away and maybe apply in your own business. So first, an example from the water industry with these principles in action. A few years ago, Yarra Valley Water had a problem. The economic regulator had made a price determination that under business as usual, their debt levels would rise to 164 million. The Auditor General was expressing concerns that the projected debt level was unacceptable and unsustainable. At this moment, Houston, we have a problem. By taking a company-wide approach to improving efficiency using innovation, Yarra Valley Water was able over 2 years to reduce its projected debt levels by 31% to $113 million. It was a great credit to the team. But at the same time, they also reduced their risk. And in the main, it used the 6 critical success factors for innovation that I'll be describing today. And I'm pleased to say that Peter Quinn is here in the audience, the Managing Director. So what are the 6 traits? Here they are. Now, I've got a message for you. You don't have to do all of them. You might do more, you might do less. Because every corporation is different and the situation that you're in is important. The key underpinning is for you as leaders, as managing directors and directors, is to think deeply about the environment that you're in. Assess openly the readiness of your organisation and be determined to make the difference, to make that breakthrough improvement. So let's just go through them. Common purpose and line of sight. Now I know that Holly used this really outstanding approach that comes from Simon Sinek, but it's really the focus on the why. Great organisations have great strategies that start with the why. Most people in organisations start with the what and the how because they're tangible, and it's only later that they move to the why. But the research is clear that for inspired industries and companies, and also innovative organisations, starting with the why makes all of the difference. Apple is an example who've taken this approach, and you can see their why, how and what. Although I'd have to say I think at the moment they will be thinking deeply about their why because they have become the status quo. And how are they going to challenge themselves? Yarra Valley Water went through 12 months developing its why, and you can see it's there. And it's the thing that really speaks to me is about the health and well-being of current and future generations. The thing that's important is that it was worked with all of the organisation so that every staff member has been deeply involved in the process. They understand what the purpose is, they understand why the purpose is done, and they understand what they are doing each day to deliver on that purpose and those strategic commitments. Because when you have everyone lined up, great things will happen. It really does then provide an underpinning, and you get results as you can see there. To have all of your staff understand that, I've not seen results like this in my time as a director and as a senior executive. What it does mean is that if I'm a staff member and I'm thinking about doing something to improve the way we work, I can test it against what I know about our purpose and what it is that we're planning to deliver and answer the question, will this change make it better? Is it consistent with where it is that we want to go? It also leads into culture. An empowered and engaged workforce cares about the organisation, has confidence that the improvements they are thinking about will be taken seriously, and knows that the organisation has the capability to successfully deliver that change. Yarra Valley Water has been on a journey since 2001 to really start to improve its culture. It uses an international tool called the OCI, and the thing that you need to know from this is the blue is good, red and green are bad. Because the blue is about constructive styles of behaviour that emphasise the achievement of realistic stretch targets, high levels of personal satisfaction, open, honest and collaborative approach. So that was what it was in 2001. This is what it is in 2015. So I'm new to Yarra Valley Water, and I can say you can feel it, you can see it, you can hear it. And it is a tremendous platform for you to be an innovative organisation, which Yarra Valley Water is. Because it also then goes to this next one, which I think is particularly important. To create a new future, we need to be clear about where we want to go. We won't know everything that we're going to do to get ourselves there, but that's okay. And that was the case at Goulburn Valley Water. They knew they needed to reduce their future debt levels by 30%, but they didn't know all of the projects. But having the commitment and the confidence to have what the language that was used up there was to have a crack, they were able to deliver. And they had the risk management in place for those moments when things don't necessarily work. Number 4, which is about customers and communities. And it's about customers and communities at the start of the process, not the end of the process. And a really great example of that came from John Merritt, who's the CEO of Vic Roads. And the example that he used was here in Melbourne. The port has been around for 160 plus years. Suburbs are gentrifying around it, so you had a situation where trucks were driving down roads and past schools. It was a problem. Solution currently being proposed by Vic Roads was going to cost somewhere north of $1 billion, wasn't going to really work, so they needed another way of doing it. They brought together the truck operators and the community groups, and the community groups at the first session at the end said, you know, if we could just get the trucks off the streets at school pickup and drop off. So they worked a process of doing that. Truck operators were happy because they didn't want their trucks on when the roads were busy. A couple of signs, changes in some processes. Went back 12 months to talk to the community groups, and the response from the community groups was, this has been life-changing. And if you think about it, it had customers and the community at the centre of the process. It had them at the start of the process, and it had a different way of working, which was not the typical way for Vic Roads, which was build roads, spend $1 billion. Innovation framework. Large organisations always need to work out how they're going to innovate. They typically use the three most popular at the moment, which would be my observation. One is company-wide engagement, where everyone is involved in finding ways to improve the business. There is typically a central group that provides tools, expertise and support, but the line of business managers are responsible. It's the approach that has been adopted by Yarra Valley Water, and I think it is the one that's the most applicable to the water industry. The second way that people approach it is to have a separate line of business. Think Qantas as a full-service airline when they established Jetstar as a low-cost operator. It was a completely separate operation, different business model, different lines of reporting, different funding and so on. The third way, which is happening increasingly at the moment, is about investing in innovative startups that are kept completely separate from the main business. And this is the approach that people like Telstra and the banks are using as they set up their fintech hubs, Stone and Chalk in Sydney and so on. So for you as leaders, you need to be thinking about what is the right way for us to approach this in our organisation. What's the framework that best meets the needs that we have and how our organisation works. The last of the 6 is about partnerships. If your goal is a greener, cooler, healthier cities, water corporations are important players, but we can't do it all. It requires partnering. This is a capability that needs to be developed and nurtured. It doesn't just happen. But when it does, you can get to great things. So you can see the very challenging goals that have been set for this project, and it's being led by City West Water. The logos give you an indication of all of the people who are involved in that process, and the Alliance shares knowledge, promotes the initiative, implements and then scales practical solutions to really get to that change. And if you think about it, it's a very clear goal, and it's something that the community can relate to, organisations can relate to. I'd like to really compliment City West Water for their leadership in this, and I think that there is an opportunity for water corporations to lead more. I think at times, my observation would be is that many water corporations want to take a following role, whereas I think that we have the skills and the capability and the need to be able to take that lead. So in closing, and just as an aside, I row up that river. Very nice. Internationally, all cities and towns are facing challenges driven by demographics, urbanisation, the environment, affordability and community expectations. To get to where we need to be, business as usual and how we've done things in the past is not enough. Innovation is the tool that can help us to accelerate the delivery of cooler, greener and healthier cities. It's a goal that I know that we all want to achieve, and something that I was really hungering for in that terribly hot week in Melbourne in February in 2009. Thank you very much.